It feels like there is a lot of talk about positive thinking, imagining, planning, and all that sauce, but very little credit is given to negative thinking. Like it always has to be a bad thing. And that's definitely not true. Thinking negative can be really positive and have really positive consequences. Now, I'm not saying that we should walk around grumpy all the time and imagine how everything goes to hell. No. I'm just saying that if we accept the possibility of failure, which can objectively happen and actually does happen quite a lot, we can prepare ourselves for almost everything what is about to come and plan the way how we are going to react once everything, as we said, should go to hell. Hey guys, what's up? Michal here. I'm an engineering leader working in automotive for almost 10 years, and today we are going to have a look on the benefits of negative thinking and, to be more specific, on how it can help us to uncover the risks. For the sake of general application, let's keep it simple and imagine that you want to start running 4 times a week, minimum 2 times. You're actually preparing for a small race that is going to take place on 24th of June 2023. You know the distance you will have to do, you know the time you would like to achieve, you have drafted a small training plan, you know your daily schedule, and you got yourself some nice shoes, clothes, so you look all fancy when you go running. It's all set and you are good to go. Nothing can stop you. Well, that's at least the plan. If we think about it, this approach is like using a paper map to get somewhere. Knowing your destination, you run your fingers across the map, like through the maze, and you will find, most probably, many ways. Some will be shorter, some will be longer, but on the paper they will look basically all safe and sound. They are just simple lines connecting the start and the finish. However, as humans living on this planet, we know that's not true. There might be closed roads, accidents, traffic jams, construction sites, what have you. And those are simply not going to be shown on this outdated piece of paper. That's why we are better off with something like Google Maps or Waze, which is basically showing us all this mess that is waiting for us ahead. We could say that those systems are basically thinking negative. They show us the problems on the way, they suggest detours, and based on the historical data and statistics, they can even predict the traffic jams and road closures whatsoever in the future. Coming back to your small project of running 4 times a week, as a good and healthy program manager, you want to consider the possibility that it will not all be unicorns and rainbows, right? One of the best ways how to anticipate the potential risks is to peek in the future and do some mental time travel. There is one mental model in particular that it's beautiful in its simplicity and it's also fun to use. The pre-mortem. This technique encourages to identify problems and risks. It helps to eliminate optimism bias, screams for big and bold thinking, there are no limits, and it washes away the fear to speak and to express the worries. Actually, that's the point of the whole technique. You probably know the post-mortem from the TV shows or from the business. The point is that this technique is basically dealing with the patient or project that is already dead. And, well, that's too late. Now in pre-mortem, good news everyone, your patient is still alive. Technique was developed by Gary Klein and is based on the prospective hindsight. This is basically a concept where we imagine that the future event already happened and then we try to analyze why. We start by writing down the deadline for a particular decision, milestone, task or project. If we do this as a group exercise, it's good to use a big board where you can stick the post notes and put somewhere in the middle the shiny, beautiful deadline and its description. Second, we imagine that the event already happened, We are after the deadline, and it's crystal clear that it all turned into disaster. We failed big time. We take this future and we put it in the present tense. It will give us a feeling that the thing is more real. And this is good and bad. Good because it feels real, bad because it feels real. That's because positive thinking will evoke feelings similar to success, but negative thinking will do the same. So if you will think that you fail, you might actually feel very similar like if you fail. Okay, whatever. It will be uncomfortable for a while, but we should embrace this discomfort. It's worth it if we can minimize the pain or maybe avoid the failure in the future. Thinking negative can actually help us to take the advantage of hindsight bias. You know that feeling when you look back to the past and you say, I knew it, I thought so, I told you so, I knew it all along, and so on. Okay, so here we go. We close our eyes and we make up some story to make it a bit more fun and more realistic. So we are fast forwarding through the time and space, and the minutes and hours and months are passing. It's summer again. It's June 25th and it's raining, damn it. Sunday, you are sitting on your sofa and it's one day after the race that you didn't do. Okay, got it. Now, when you are there in the future, you look back from that perspective, from that sofa, and start to list down the reasons why did you fail. You're gonna think about internal, so in your control, and external, out of your control, factors that played the role. If you do this as a group exercise, let everybody take 2-3 minutes to jot down the reasons. Everyone should bring 5 reasons to the table, and this time limit of 2-3 minutes will give some urgency and can help as well to boost the creativity a bit. What I want to emphasize here is that you really want to imagine yourself being there in the future. Take the role, embody the vision of the future, smell it, taste it, look around, look down, look up. What do you see? What happened? Why did it happen? What was blocking you? What did your competition do? What about your values? Did you respect them all along? How did you get to this point? What did you do or what you didn't do? So here is the stuff I came up with for our example. I didn't like running alone, so I dropped it. I kept telling myself, I'll go tomorrow, but there is always tomorrow. Life happened, got busy at work, and when I got back home, I was too tired to train in the evenings. I was hungry every time I got home, so I ate first, and then it was not possible to go anymore. The weather was trash all the time. Well, it's not today, but could be. This is a good one. Dog ate my shoes and I just couldn't get over it. Well, I got injured and I couldn't run. I somehow never managed to find the time. There was always something else to do and there were other priorities. It took me a few minutes to put down those reasons, but I guess you get the point. Research shows that we can come up with something like 30% more reasons of failure if we use the pre-mortem. Plus, it's fun. But if we want to cover the wider range, we need to dig a little bit deeper. And here I want to mention two specific things. Thing number one, nothing is certain except death and taxes, as Franklin said. Our future is basically made out of two components, our decisions and the things out of our control, or you can say the luck. The good luck or the bad luck. When thinking about why we could fail or succeed, it's good to consider the role of the luck. The chances that the bad luck might happen are maybe minor, but now we are trying to identify as many risks as possible. Just look back to 2020 and, well, chance of Stuff like pandemic hitting when you are trying to launch a new product might be minor, but it did happen. So the key takeaway question here is, what did surprise you? Number 2, the devil is in the detail. So what about the people being constantly late for the meetings just by 5 minutes, or about the culture where everybody is delaying the task until the very last moment? Those small things, they matter a lot. Maybe not in a short term, but on the long run. There is this great book from James Clear called Atomic Habits, and this is basically the point. The small habits, positive or negative, compound over the time, and they make a huge impact at the end of the day. So the key takeaway here is that we need to look for small, on the first sight, insignificant but repetitive patterns of behavior that could have a really big impact over the time on the project, or for that matter, on our lives. The question to ask yourself here is, what seemed trivial at the beginning and turned into catastrophe? Alright, that's it guys. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Ciao. Turn off.